As I was watching the end of the Super Bowl and Mahomes and Travis Kelce were there, Kelce was a little fired up, right? And he was talking about put some respect on our name. It's happening for the Detroit Lions. And before we watch this video, I think we have to ask ourselves the question, do we care? Because the national media has been so against us for so long. And I think some of us say, oh, the national media is against us. They hate the city of Detroit, right? Detroit versus everybody. The other side has to say, we haven't been good. like we just haven't been good. So it makes sense that the national media would believe that we don't have the ability to be a championship contender. They wouldn't give us good power rankings because we haven't been good. And so now that we are starting to play well, you finish the season 8-2, you have a 9-8 record, and either one, you could say a 9-8 record with a young team should bode well for next year. You could say a team that finished the year 8-2, no matter what their record was, should be good the next year. It just so happens we did both of those things. So we were 9-8. We are a young team. I guess I should say all three. And we finished the year 8-2. So let's see what people in the way too early 2023 power rankings look like. All right. So let's start with something that's kind of fun. And the Lions have, as you can see right up here, the 9th best Super Bowl 58 odds. So if you were to go make a bet right now for the Detroit Lions, they would have the 9th best odds to win the Super Bowl next year. So that's a power ranking in itself, isn't it? It's 9th. And if that's where Vegas has them, that's where I like them. Vegas's money is good stuff. They know what they're doing. All right, now let's start looking at the other places and what they have to say about the Lions. ESPN 2023 power ranking, number 12. Good enough for the playoffs. It's a playoff team. Offensively, there aren't many holes to fill in the Lions roster, but defense is a different story. After their first winning season, blah, 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 the Lions will have to rely on getting some game changers in the draft with the first 2 first-round picks. Statistically, the Lions ranked in the bottom of the tier near every category. All right, so this is somebody who simply didn't watch the games. ESPN has to realize and has to understand that our defense was so unbelievably atrocious for the first 7 weeks and then again in week 9 against the Bears that even though we won that game against the Bears, that we were so bad that we were last in every category in the back half of the year in that run for the next 8 games or so. We were absolutely a middle of the pack defensive team. Also, it talks about how we need to get game changers. We do have a couple of game changers on this defense, at least one with Hutchinson. So I think they're right. There needs to be another game changer on the defensive side of the ball, but I don't think it's as bad as they think. Sporting News has us at 11. The Lions deserve to roar up here. Oh, creative. Now the question is, are we going to get a kneecapping? Are we going to get a biting of kneecaps story here? To roar up here in the top dozen after their near playoff breakout under Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, look for more solid moves that complement their youthful promise, with the only question being how much do they trust Jared Goff? They trust Goff. They do. And even if they draft with the 18th pick and Anthony Richardson, they still trust Jared Goff. But I like how it says, look for more solid moves that complement their youthful promise. There's an understanding that we're a young team and a belief that we'll continue to get better in it. All right, Pro Football Network, PFN, has us at 11 as well. The Fighting Dan Campbells. Look at all these people just trying to be creative. And it's just like, oh my goodness, it's always about Dan Campbell. All right, the Fighting Dan Campbells were a treat to watch this past season. Yes, they were. Thank you. Behind a good offensive line and revamped receiving core, the Lions' offensive rode an efficient Jared Goff all the way to offensive excellency. With Ben Johnson returning to Detroit, it's likely we see further offensive success next season. And this is great. And I'm going to pause because I think there's more. Don't get me wrong. There's more, but I just want to move this for a second and talk, because that is a great reminder. Because so often I look at this team and I'm like, okay, we were 8-2. We won some close games in there, and man, we could have just as easily in those 9 games gone 5-4 as we did 8-2, or in those 10 games, we could have gone 5-5, 6-4 as we did 8-2. And I have to remind myself, we had a great offense all year. Even when we were bad, the offense was really good. And I think I have to keep reminding myself, and as Lions fans, we have to keep reminding ourselves that was an excellent offense. And I don't see that just going away. And I don't see Brad Holmes not putting any resources into the offensive side. If you're not improving, you're dying. So I see him putting more resources into the defensive side, but I also see him putting resources into the offense as well. All right. Next, we have touchdown wire. Oh, and they also talked about with 2 first and second round picks, the Lions could throw assets at the secondary and what looks to be a strong cornerback class. A slightly improved defense in year 3 under Campbell could be the best season Detroit has had since joining the NFC North. Oh my goodness. Sorry. That is a long time ago. Like, did I miss something? Were we not in the NFC North? The best season we've had. Better than 91? Okay. So, all right, that's fine. When we beat the Cowboys and okay. Anyways, when we won the NFC North, probably the last time we won the NFC North. Touchdown wire has us at 12th. Do the Lions dare upgrade at quarterback? Oh, of course, we got to get the quarterback conversation. Jared Goff looked like his old self with Detroit, who started to take on the persona of Coach Dan Campbell, leaving Lambeau Field with a win and keeping the Green Bay Packers out of the postseason, maybe a heck of a touchstone for the Lions throughout the offseason. It shows that Campbell's way works. Thank you for giving us your insight after watching one game. That's what this feels like to me. You are a national analyst that's just talking still about quarterback, even though Jared Goff was a Pro Bowl quarterback. You're only talking about the Packers game. It was a big deal, but it wasn't the deal. So there we go. Like, take it for what you will. And when you look at the national media, some of them absolutely know what they're talking about. And when I listen to different podcasts and things like that, sometimes I'm amazed at how much random people know about the Detroit Lions. I really am, even though that's not what the team that they solely focus on. Here's the deal. We can go a lot of different directions, but everybody, whether they know something or not, I'll give us a power ranking of 9 with Vegas because of the Super Bowl odds. I will, and I think part of that has to do, it might not just be a power ranking. I think some of that has to do with the division we play in, the NFC North. I think there's a belief that Aaron Rodgers is going to go, and I think that there's a belief that the Lions will be the favorites to win the North this upcoming year. But then everybody else had us at 11 or 12. 11 or 12. So a not easy playoff team, but get in as the 5 or 6 or 7 seed playoff team. And so everybody is saying the same thing. The Detroit Lions are a good team. And I think it's kind of similar to what you saw with the Titans in years past. So excited to see what we're going to do, and excited that the country is starting to recognize the roar. Sorry, that's so cheesy. That is so dumb. All right. Hey, I'll see you guys on the next one. Become a member if you haven't become a member of the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Hit the comments below. Where would you put us on the power rankings? I would love to know, and I will see you on the next one.